Hello guys, just want to give you a bit of insight to what happens to the track. We left our track out, I think, for about 3 weeks in all the elements. This is the amount of track that we had in the elements. If I can just get that right, there's a big box there of track. It does do a bit of damage to it, to be honest. Not going to lie to you about that. There is a bit of surface corrosion, or not corrosion, like a bit of surface rust. But the most detrimental thing I think that we've experienced on this experiment is that we do get a bit of warping from the sun. So here in Australia, where I'm located in Newcastle, the hottest day I think we had was about 25 degrees, and that was probably a one-off. But we find that with the heat and the coolness, the track sort of evens itself out. It does warp and bend a little bit, but nevertheless it still sort of works. You know, you got to tweak a few things. But to give you an idea, I'm going to show you a straight, and you can see the warping in it, which I can rectify because I've done it before. It's not the first time I've done it. I've packed everything under a bit of weight and it's rectified itself. But to give you a look at the warping, if you can sort of see that, you can see how it's really bent, and that's a straight. And as you can see, for those who ask the question, yes, there is a bit of surface rust, but it's very minute. And as a corner, it has the same effect. This one's pretty good. It's got very minute rust on it, but nonetheless, it's still pretty good. But it's still warped, so that's the biggest thing that we have. If anyone wants to do what we do, and we set the tracks up outside and try and get a bit of a layout, just something different, just something completely out of the norm, and a bit of fun and a bit of excitement, and see what happens to cars when they slide in the wet when it rains. It's a bit different. But you can't race them when it's really raining because it's just generally not safe. But for those who ask questions about what happens, well, yeah, well, there you go. So if you're going to spend some money on some track, and yeah, you got to be prepared to ride the consequences, I suppose. But nevertheless, all this track I've got, so I had 40 linear of track out, or just under, I think it was just under 40 lineal. It'll pack out fine by the time I put in some packs and put a bit of weight on it, which I've done before. It'll turn out flat again. Gentleman Roland Rain, I think it was, or Ran, I'm sorry if I can't pronounce your surname properly. He gave me a couple inside tips on the track. I was running 3 power boosters, and he said, no, you don't need a third one because everything runs from the controller where your triggers are. And I said to him, so, well, every time I plug the third one in, which didn't have a controller on, he said it might have something to do with the adaptation of the track, in layman's terms. And I thought, well, that's a bit weird. But actually, what he pointed out was that what I believe is correct is where the male and female parts are, that sometimes they're not pushed out or far enough that they actually really connect really tightly. And what I think had happened was, when I tried to race the cars and I didn't have that third one in without the controllers on, they weren't hitting it. And every time I plugged it in, I might have moved that track just a 1 mil or 2 mil, maybe 3, 5 mil, 10 mil, whatever it was, that those male and female parts would connect. So anyway, I looked at what Roland said, and I tightened a few things up, and being a novice, I'll put my hand up, mate. I was incorrect in what I was doing, and he was 100% correct what he was saying, and he also offered what I should do otherwise with so we can get some boosters into it, which I haven't done yet, but I'll be looking towards it. But yeah, so just to set a couple of things straight, your boosters only work off, or the power supply only works off the trigger, and that's what happens to track when you leave it in the weather for about 3 weeks. But we're going to set up another track soon. We did say my son wanted to do a bit of a, what do you call it, a rally track for a mine site, so we're going to set that up. The mower man came today and mowed it. We had to strip it apart yesterday, so anyway, it's all good. I love the adventure of the imagination of building something and having fun with it. So stay tuned, and yeah, I hope you enjoy. I don't want to bore you or anything like that. I love the hobby, and I love seeing what everyone else is doing around the world. It's an amazing thing, and it's a connection that it should be held. We've all got a little kid inside of us, and yeah, it's enjoyable. But the most important thing is, if we can put a smile on a kid's face, well, then that makes all the difference. So I'll talk soon, and I'll leave you with that. Gussie, and I'll see you later.